Let's speak with Sir John Redwood, former Conservative Cabinet Minister. John, good morning to you. I mean, it's like listening to the kind of the old socialist playbook. You know, we're going to make you better off, and all those great speeches about other people's money and what he's planning to do. And we have this extraordinary headline this morning that under a socialist government, because that is what we have, people, the poorest people, are less well off than they were before.
I know. I mean, you couldn't make it up, could you? And the top people of the government don't seem to see that what they're saying is our aspirations, but they're not coming true, that they're delivering exactly the opposite of what they promised. You know, we'll smash the gangs and the small boats go up.
Yeah.
We'll give you a rise in living standards and your living standards go down. We cut energy bills, and then each time they put the price of energy up with their managed price. And the price of energy is one of the reasons why those on the lowest income to squeeze most, because they obviously spend proportionately more of their income on energy. And energy has been a bad news story from this government throughout. The government says, oh, well, we're putting the minimum wage up. But then putting the minimum wage up and the national insurance jobs tax means that far fewer people get jobs. So instead of making people better off, they're worse off, because the way to get better off is to actually get a job. And the large number of tax rises have also crucified people on higher incomes. And I have some doubt about how accurate these latest figures are, because it says that the better off have been getting better off. Well, I don't think a lot of the better off feel that.
No.
Some better off have felt so much worse off, they just left the country altogether.
Indeed.
And others have had falling deposit interest because the interest rates have come down. They've had their incomes dragged into higher tax brackets all the time, paying more tax. They're getting clobbered on their council tax. So I think most people feel worse off.
You mentioned energy there, and of course, prior to the general election, they were running around the country telling anyone who cared to listen they were going to give us all, was it £300 or £350 or something?
300.
Like that? Yes, so we're all going to, you know, hey, it was a big payday in the energy department. And then about half an hour before we went to the polling booths, it was sort of quietly dropped. They stopped saying it when they realised, actually, this is a lie. And since then, not only is it's not neutralised, it's actually got worse. It's more expensive, and now we've got curious taxes coming in on anybody who dares to have the audacity to use gas, a 30 quid tax on using gas. I mean, do they know what they're doing in any respect? This is an absolute mess, John.
Well, this is all the extreme net zero policies of Mr. Miliband, which is destroying investment and undermining a lot of our businesses. I mean, they first of all ban our own oil and gas, so then good jobs are destroyed or not created. And the industry is overtaxed, so it goes elsewhere. And then they put in too many renewables at very high cost, pretending they're going to lower the bills when they're actually driving the bills up. So now they say, oh, well, what we're going to do is at some point this year, they're going to take £150 off the bill and stick it on your tax bill. Well, that doesn't make you better off, and it doesn't mean that energy is cheaper.
In terms of 2026, we've been looking, John Redwood, at sort of predictions for this year. We know those May elections are looming. They will come around quicker than, well, certainly quicker than the government would like. It's around about 20 weeks away. These are incredibly significant because we're not talking about one or two council seats, the entirety of Wales and Scotland, some really poignant mayoral seats there as well. This could be an absolute wipeout for Labour. Would it be a wipeout sufficient enough to get the Prime Minister to walk the plank?
Well, I think there will be increased pressure after the May election results to replace the Prime Minister. I think Labour finds it more difficult to replace Prime Ministers than the Conservatives did. And some Labour MPs will look across at the Conservative example and think, well, it didn't work very well for them replacing Prime Ministers all the time. I think the problem the country will have is that we're desperate to have a change of Prime Minister, but we don't like the choices on offer. And we could end up with a worse Prime Minister if Labour MPs get round to doing it. I don't believe Labour MPs are stupid enough to hold a general election in the way some people are forecasting. I know they've signed up to a lot of very stupid things so far, but self-preservation in MPs normally means they don't support or vote for an early election when their party will be obliterated.
Can the Conservatives turn things around, John? I mean, it's obviously been a bit of a wobbly time. We know what happened in 2024, and I think most Tories, yourself included, you know, have explained and understood, and even put your hands up on occasion. So, yeah, we got a lot of things terribly wrong here. There is a sense that Kemi Badenoch is turning a corner. and her star is rising. There's a lot of work to do, though, isn't there? If you to make serious indentations into areas where reforms seem to be really making their mark. The Tories are really only on first base.
Well, that's right, the sort of work to do, as the leader says. Well, I was someone who didn't fight the last election because I didn't agree with enough of what the then Conservative Party was doing. I do now fully support Kemi Badenoch. I think she's making a really big impact. And it's the only party now with a sensible economic policy which says that you have to start with reducing unnecessary and wasteful spending, and they've identified 47 billion, so that then you borrow less, so you can get interest rates down a bit more, and above all, you have some tax cuts, because we desperately need some tax cuts to get some growth. I think that's a unique proposition. I'm surprised Reform hasn't copied it. And I think that will be a great strength going ahead, but it's going to take time to persuade people that this is a new Conservative team and they've got better ideas.
Sir John Redwood, thank you. Former Cabinet Minister, former Conservative MP John Redwood with us on the programme. Thank you to him. Over to you, 0344 499 1000.